Hi there, this is Aluna Michaels, Esoteric Astrologer, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. Let's see, I am a second generation astrologer. My mother started learning astrology when I was 3, and her teachers and friends were some of the biggest names in astrology. I was really blessed. I mean, she was very close to Francis Sequoian, Robert Hinn, Caroline Casey, Isabel Hickey. So I grew up with these people, and it was amazing. I kind of learned astrology along with, reading, writing ABCs. So I feel like it's almost like being bilingual, and that was a real blessing in my life. So I enjoyed astrology when I was younger, and then I got to a point where, as a teenager, it was like, ugh, everything was astrology, and my mother couldn't remember my friend's name. She'd just say, oh, the Capricorn girl or whatever, and it just seemed annoying to me, and I thought, oh, this is just whatever it is, I'm not interested. But then some events were occurring later when I was a later teenager, and it was like, oh, that was a certain thing with the astrology, and I started reinvestigating things. And I think when in the 60s and 70s, when my mother was learning, there was a lot of need for astrology to be very clear and basic and, it works kind of thing. And then in the 80s, things started to evolve more into, with Tracy Marks and, Jeffrey Wolf and all these people, that things were getting more into a spiritual, as green as so many to name, but more of a spiritual and psychological approach to astrology. And I really grasped onto that and started working as an astrologer. I mean, really, it was since I've been about 16. But by the time I was in my early 20s, it was my full-time job. I thought, I went to an Ivy League university. I even, I just was like, you need to be an astrologer. Like, okay, universe. And so I have a degree in religion from Brown University, and I also went on to get a master's degree from Andover Newton Theological School. I have a master's in pastoral counseling, religious counseling, which I was doing as being an astrologer. Even when I was in college, I was still working with my astrology and taking it to a deeper level with the more esoteric take on things that I got into as I kept working with clients. Because I found that deeper esoteric view is what people are needing more nowadays. And the esoteric work is based upon the work of Alice Bailey, but other people have worked with it since then too. But this idea that our souls are evolving, and we do have a history of karma and desires, and why do we come in with a certain chart, and why are we with these certain people? And astrology on that deeper level can really show what you can do to get out of difficult situations, to make relationships better, to make your life more fulfilling, and not in a way that's scary or fated, but it's like, okay, here's your life plan, and how can we work in it to even take it to a higher level instead of just kind of going along. I feel like when you're working with esoteric astrology, you're moving out of feeling like a victim as you could with more mundane astrology, and feeling more empowered. And when people talk about co-creation, esoteric astrology helps in that way, that you're creating your life with the universe, with the powers that your spiritual helpers, God, whatever you want to say, that you're cooperating with the evolution of your soul. So I also, just a little bit more about me, I also studied meditation for a long time. The Center for Enlightenment, Jane Elizabeth Hart is my meditation teacher, and her views are really, for me, wound within the esoteric work of Alice Bailey to give me a pretty unique perspective. A lot of my favorite things to do is work with people about relationships and the karma there, romantic relationships, kids, family, parents, whatever. That's great also for people to find their own brand of spiritual understanding that's going to help them, or a form of meditation that's going to help them. I also really like to work with addiction issues, body image issues for women or men. Those kind of things are clearly seen in a chart, and also the karmic reasons why you came in to work on those kind of things, and how you can get, I don't want to say get past it, but integrate it and move on in your life so that you master that piece and can go forward to other topics that may be more interesting to you. Let's see, I feel that I'm very positive. I feel like even challenging things in our chart, it's like our soul is really wise. We put it in there for a reason. And there is a way to, I don't want to say make it better, but to work with it the way our soul wanted us to work with it, rather than a personality being like, oh, my life stinks in this department or something. It's like, how can we get the lesson out of that and transmute it to a higher expression of what you're experiencing with it now. Also with transits, I really see them as spiritual opportunities, even if they're challenging transits. I mean, some transits are really hard, it's true. You can definitely go through hard times in your life, but the soul always has good intentions for us, good intentions when we plan this lifetime. The universe loves us, so how can we tap into that when we're feeling pretty cruddy? So I feel I'm always taking a positive spin on those things, although I am very realistic with people in certain relationships that really need to close out. How do we get out of those? How do we get out of those without bringing them back in a future life or having being pulled down by them? And in this lifetime, we're ready to go. How do we clear our minds out of those things that are no longer serving us? Which is a positive thing too. If it's run its course, we need to release it and move on. And giving you the tools to do that so you feel fresh and clean and new spiritual opportunities. So that's part of my unique history that I feel gives me a slightly different view than some other astrologers. And just with any astrologer you choose, please make sure it is constructive information and positive information, again, even if things are challenging. So enjoy your spiritual journey, and maybe we'll be in touch soon.